I'm glad you mentioned England, because you were England Player of the Year in probably the hardest year to be England Player of the Year, 2016, which was a pretty rough one, wasn't it? And you are the greatest England pub quiz question in my view, because you're, you're the only England player to have scored a goal for Sam Allardyce, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was Slovakia, wasn't it, away?
Yeah, it was. I actually, I really enjoyed it under Big Sam, for the couple of camps I was there. I remember thinking, God, Big Sam's coming in. We're going to, are we going to be playing long ball now? And, but, how wrong was I? And I feel embarrassed to, admit that I had that thought. But he came in, he was like, why would I be playing? I've got the best players in the country. Of course we're going to play. And he just made it a great environment to begin with. Wanted players to express themselves, and he just understood footy and had a real warmth about him, Big Sam. And I was, terribly upset for him that it was obviously a small tenure.
Yeah, you had a very good England career in a tough time, didn't you? That was a tough period, really.
Yeah, I've again, I had a couple of bad injuries at bad moments. But I was there when Gareth took the job, and I think the year I won Player of the Year was maybe his first year in charge, and I remember I was an important character for him in his time, because Gareth got the England job coming up from the under-21s, and I just can imagine looking back now how he must have been feeling. And he'll openly admit he would have been out of his depth. And I remember at that time speaking of conversations what do you want from me? What do you want from us? Whatever you want from the team. I'll set the press off. I remember me and Vards up front against Spain one game. I was like, no, boss, we need to be out of possession. We need to play like this. This is how it feels when we were doing. And he was like, yeah, what But again, giving me ownership to make them decisions, and that's smart from a manager, I think, especially when he'd just been given the job or he was standing in at that time. And Gareth's always been great for me ever since. Yeah. Still exchange texts for every now and again now, and a lot of admiration for Gareth and how he's really united the England camp. I've been part of England camps where players, you don't really want to go and there's a bit clicky. He is the reason everyone wants to go to England camps now. Gareth, that's Gareth, and that's his super strength. That's what Gareth is. He's an organizer. He's a planner. He creates this environment where people want to turn up. Yeah, and that's the change he made.
You've worked under, and you've described all these super strengths of certain managers you've played under, and I think from this conversation, it's plain to see that one day you probably will be a boss. What would be your super strength, or how would you want to be perceived as a manager?
How I am as a player. I don't know what the right or wrong is, but I think how I play the game naturally, that has to be. I'm doing my A licenses now, and we talk about philosophies and shapes, and I couldn't care less about shapes. 4-3-3, I could not care, because they're all good in certain moments, or they're all bad in certain moments. But all I know is that how I see the game, and that's when I'm on the pitch, and my passion I have, whether it's for vocally shouting at players or whether I'm ratting around players. Maybe it used to be a bit more like that when physically I could, but that, and I want to be able to, I can technically handle the ball. That is what I am as a footballer, and I think that's what I would like to see in my teams. Yeah. How the hell I'm going to get that across to players, I've not got a clue.
You've had plenty of practice, mate. You've worked with some amazing people.
Okay. But if I can take a little bit of Jurgen, the warmth and charisma of Maurizio when he turned up to Southampton, I was struggling as captain, really struggling, trying to do too much, and he settled me down straight away. Roberto's tactics and footballing knowledge. with, again, with his aura and his demands, if I can take little bits from what I've learned and experienced, but I think that is inside of me already. So I don't need to think of a clever formula, because I've learned it. It will be in there somewhere, and naturally it will come out.
Well, you've more than learned it. You've lived it.
I've lived it. I've lived it. Yeah.